Not a matter of if, but when crisis will rock your world. I'm Roshini Rajkumar, crisis strategist, licensed attorney, and host of The Crisis Files. In each case file, we explore a concept fueling the headlines. Kristi Piehl is the CEO of Minefield, a PR firm with a story-centric approach. Artificial intelligence is fast growing as a tool to tell those stories and growing in popularity. But often, blunders occur. That can set into motion crises of all types. Kristi is here for the case file I call AI Did What? Kristi, first, for people who don't know, what do we mean when we talk about artificial intelligence?
I actually asked AI to define AI. So this is what AI says it is: a field of science concerned with building computers and machines that can reason, learn, and act in such a way that would normally require human intelligence, or that involves data whose scale exceeds what humans can analyze.
Wow, so it's not as simple as saying AI is a robot.
No, AI wants you to define it more broadly than that. But I think when we talk about AI, most people think ChatGPT, and they think about putting in a prompt and receiving an answer in return. And when crises are happening, it's when someone uses AI instead of asking a person.
All right, so let's get into some of those crises. What are some recent and costly AI communication debacles that you've noticed in the headlines, or that people might not even really know are AI debacles, or maybe they do?
I think a lot of them stay internal. The most public ones are really terrible and oftentimes tragic. So if you Google or put into AI, what is the most prolific and painful AI mistake? I think it is Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt University, there was a shooting scare on campus. They put out a statement to everyone, and the statement was clearly AI generated. It was emotionless, and it had a mistake in it. And because of that, they launched themselves into a secondary crisis of using AI to communicate with students.
And you, as a PR professional, that's the last thing that you want your clients to do, or people listening today.
It's tempting, especially if someone has a smaller marketing team where they don't know what to do. It's very tempting, especially students coming out of universities where they perhaps have used ChatGPT to help them with their papers. So my executive is asking me to do something. I'm just going to put it into ChatGPT and we'll roll with it. It's very dangerous because for any kind of message to land well and for it to connect with humans, which is what a great PR message does, it has to be human-centric, which AI cannot be.
So when we talk about the risks of using artificial intelligence, as you pointed out so well from that Vanderbilt situation, sadly, that was also misinformation. So that's a really big risk that all of us, not even if we're part of a business, but just individually, we don't want misinformation about us out there, whether it is on a social platform or traveling by email.
100%. And that's the big risk with artificial intelligence, is that it is just giving back what it seems to have found or have heard, and none of it is original. So let's talk about ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is pulling from what other people have written. It is not original thought. So that's problematic for many reasons. When we think about social media is now getting wise, the algorithms are. So it is not serving up as much AI-generated content. It can tell the difference. So original, authentic content is performing better on social media platforms because it's saying, we want this to be a place of original, interesting, organic content. And then beyond that, if there are many different AI tools, and we use some of them, where it's, listening to a call and then taking notes or bullets and making sure that what we thought we heard, we actually heard. So it's like a secondary listening. And just as I was coming in, we just had a situation where someone put it in our Slack room. They were talking with the client. They mentioned that someone on the team had a baby. And at the end of the call, when it summarized the call, it said, congratulations to the wrong person for having the baby. So it's hearing what it wants to hear, and it's not fact-checking. It's not considering that probably the gentleman did not just give birth. So it doesn't know.
Although who knows? Maybe AI can do that down the line. But so what we're getting at here is the fact-checking function. And I love that you said AI is not human-centric. It is trying to duplicate, replicate, and parody, really, the human being, the human emotion, spectrum of emotions, but it is not human-centric. And that can lead not only to crisis, but it can lead to changes in nuance. So in this case, very beyond nuance, this was the wrong person getting congratulated for having a baby who physically in this day and age could not possibly give birth. So thank you for sharing that example. I also want to share whether AI knew you and I would be talking about AI today or not. Who
Most likely.
knows?
Dun, dun, dun.
But just last night, as I was doing final prep for this very case file, Kristi, I get an email from the place where I exercise. And it's a national brand called Lifetime. Some of you crisis filers may be a member. We've actually had the CEO of Lifetime, Bahram Akradi, on the Crisis Files during season 2. Well, I get an email from them saying, we have given you early access to something exciting before we roll it out to all of our members later this year. Meet LAIC, which stands for Lifetime Artificial Intelligence Companion. The Lifetime AI-driven chat companion is available to you in the Lifetime app. Of course, got to go to the app. But here are 2 things, and the reason why I wanted to bring it up today is because Lifetime is smart enough to think, oh, we better get on this AI thing. But the other piece, which I remember one of the lessons I learned from Bahram in one of his episodes, is start small. When you start smaller, you can fix mistakes more quickly. So I love that they're sending this out in that very theme because they want a smaller group of us to try this out, give them feedback. They're going to gather feedback from us so they can make quick, impactful improvements to help create the ultimate member companion and support tool. And I'm reading that last part from this email. So what's your take as a PR professional, reputation manager on something like this? I mean, it seems exciting, but this could also be fraught with possible crises.
It's wise that they're calling it an AI chatbot because as a user, when you get into the app and ask it a question like, what time does my Lifetime open? What are the hours? You know that you're not talking to a human being. So you aren't going to expect that you're getting a human-centric response. You're going to get fact-based responses. So you're basically going to use it like you would Google. It's taking it's taking you into its app. You're going to ask very specific questions and you're going to get machine-generated answers back, which is a great way to use AI, as opposed to having a human being sitting behind a desk somewhere looking up the answers that you frankly could find just as fast yourself with Google. And it's also telling you, you know what, Roshini, don't ask me a question that's going to require human thought. Delta has done this through X. I recently posted something great that happened on a Delta flight, and I immediately got a chatbot answer back in my direct message that was, we're sorry for the problem, we're on it. Well, I wasn't complaining about anything. I was shouting out an excellent flight attendant for fantastic service, but the AI bot is trained whenever anyone at Delta and they're on an airplane, it's going to give me some kind of response so that I don't, call the CEO.
Right, and completely no nuance there.
No.
I mean, no human-centric or no emotion really there.
No.
So what could have been really a win, like, oh, that's so nice that I got that. I mean, it's interesting you mentioned Delta because a couple flights ago, I got bumped up to first class and I sat in my first class chair and waiting for me was a note. Now, it looks like it's handwritten on a little postcard. It had my name, Dear Ms. Rajkumar, and just thanking for my status, whatever it was. And I did think that was a nice touch. Mm-hmm. So I can see how if a Delta, if a Lifetime is able to perfect some of this AI they're using for the customer experience, it could actually be really a valuable and not just fun, but a very valuable way to say to your customers, we have something unique and we are really catering to you.
I absolutely agree with you. And I think these large corporations that are doing this, they're testing. Delta didn't get it quite right, but they're on the right track that absolutely I can get a faster answer about a delayed flight if that's what I needed than calling a hotline and waiting to talk to a human being. So I think these companies are trying to disseminate in which kind of situation do I need humans, and in which kind of situation is actually the human customer going to benefit from the speed of AI.
So let's talk about your advice for leveraging the unique perspective that AI could bring to you your business, whatever the case may be, your yoga class, whatever it is, to achieve goals and create change?
I am currently getting a master's degree. I love AI for many reasons, and I think about it like you would think about a grad student or a grad assistant. So if you are looking at a blank page and you're in the content business and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know where to start, asking ChatGPT a prompt is going to give you a place to start. It's going to spark an idea. That's a great way to think about AI is if I just had someone sitting here and I could ask him a question, that would be very helpful. The thing about ChatGPT that I think is, as an English major, someone in the PR business, I love about it, you get your answer quality based on the quality of the question. So if you can provide it an excellent prompt, you can get some excellent information back. So it really is making humans think a little bit more specifically about what they want in return. And you can continue to ask it questions until you can get to an answer that is helpful to you. However, taking any information straight out of ChatGPT or anything that is AI generated and giving it to a human without putting some human emotion, filtering it, fact-checking it, is a recipe for crisis.
And I also can see more crises when people don't attribute where they got the information, and in some cases actually holding it off as their own.
It's just like anything else. ChatGPT is not original content. It is generated by someone else. It is being pulled off of the internet. It's being pulled off of social media sites. You cannot attribute anything from ChatGPT as something that you wrote unless it's like what we all learned in high school, plagiarism. Change it, add something to it, and then it's your own. But just cutting and pasting is plagiarism.
Right. There's really no other way to say that. What are some final thoughts on how to really use this responsibly? Because, again, there are a lot of courses out there. People are trying to teach the world how to use it, the breakthroughs that could be had. I mean, we're going to cover this topic of artificial intelligence throughout Season 3 on the Crisis Files, and it's so fun to kick it off with you. What are some visuals you can give us about what's out there and what we should be looking for?
Don't be afraid of it. It is here to stay, and the best way to overcome your fear is to play around with it. If you want to get into ChatGPT, which is free, and you want to use that free version, and you want to ask, you're going to a new city for something, where should I go to dinner? Give me a 24 hours in this city. You're going to get some fun, harmless uses of ChatGPT to get comfortable with it. Don't do anything that requires the personal touch. For example, if it's your wife's birthday, hey, write my wife a birthday message. That's a different kind of crisis you're kicking off.
That is, and for sure, proofread it.
People do this, and there are TikToks about people doing this. So use it in ways that aren't going to get you or someone else in trouble.
And no matter what, use her correct name.
Yeah, spell it right, perhaps. So, yeah, we want to make sure that we're using it in ways that no one is going to have their feelings hurt or be offended. And always consider the audience. If you're going to use it as even a fact check or a let me put it in and see what I get out, and maybe I'll write a social media post about it. Boy, have someone else read it, a human being with human being emotions and thoughts, because it could land differently to a human being than it could to a machine, because that machine doesn't have emotion and it doesn't have feeling and it doesn't have context. So it's really important to use it for what it is made for, and don't fear it. The future is going to be AI, but I'm not one of those people that thinks that apocalypse is coming because of machine-generated information.
Well, thanks, because that's a little comforting. We really appreciate your very real reality check. Get more Kristi Piehl and meet her team at media-minefield.com. Today's Crisis Brief is brought to you by Asset HR. Number 1, don't be afraid. Get comfortable with AI first by using it to find places to eat or entertainment venues. Number 2, human-centric messages require humans as part of the process. AI isn't a human, has no emotions, and does not understand nuance. Asset HR's unwavering commitment to exceptional service means they always maintain full dedication to existing clients. They believe in giving back by investing in the communities they serve. By fostering strong relationships and contributing to meaningful projects, Asset HR makes a lasting impact in the lives of the people they serve. Choose Asset HR and experience an HR partnership where relationships are paramount. Learn more at assethr.com. Follow us on YouTube and Instagram at The Crisis Files. Rate, review, and subscribe to The Crisis Files on your platform of choice. Check out our website, thecrisisfiles.com, to catch up on all case files in one easy spot. I'm Roshini Rajkumar. Join me next time on The Crisis Files.